And rolling.
We're live.
We're live. You are live. Welcome to Dope or Nope. It's Thursday. It's 3-ish EST. That's how we do it. That's my watch says 3-ish. So that's how we do it. I'm so excited for today. I'm like, it's a really good day. The temperature's awesome. Like I got some sleep. Yeah, I'm really excited to have everyone
I'm glad
here.
you have.
Lauren did not, as I mentioned earlier on Instagram. We did get a bunch of demos in today, so I'm very excited about that. So why don't we start with the introduction? My name is Hess. I do all the radio promotion for Armada Music in the United States. I also work for Casablanca, for Interscope, and a couple other labels, and I really have fun at this. I really enjoy this. Nick Dietrich, center of the screen. Let's see, Liftoff Recordings, Finish My Track, and oh yeah, the Disco Fries. You know those guys. Lots of good music out recently. How's the album doing, by the way, Nick?
Awesome. We got a remix out tomorrow from Jack London on our record Love You Loud with Ferry Corsten, so super psyched about that. If you guys aren't up on Jack London, he's from the UK.
He's really good.
Really dope producer. More on like the chill side, he killed it. So psyched about that.
Beautiful. Super cool. Yeah, that's the one you sent me that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good. John McDaniel, also known as McDizzle, as you can see here. 30 plus years at radio programming at C89.5 in Seattle. Best ears in the business right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
For sure. Lauren Padman, Vice President of Dimmock Records and Studio Aficionado. Excuse me. We're going to get this done by a voice guy, and then I don't have to talk this anymore.
Press play on it?
Right. We're just going to press play. That's it. Raquel Goldie, on-air host, Supreme Queen at Sirius Hits 1. And Globalization. You can catch her tomorrow at 10 a.m. EST on Pitbull's Globalization. She's also a fantastic social media person, both doing it and teaching people about it. And I'm very excited. She's going back to one of her dream places next week. Gonna miss her, though. Really gonna miss you about this, but
I know.
I'm really also simultaneously excited for you, too. She keeps saying I'll be back, but there's, I just have a little hair back here that's like, it's kind of like a 20% maybe. She's going to...
I leave South Korea on Tuesday.
Wow, how long for?
A month.
Not bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
So glad it's
That's why she keeps saying, I'll be back. I'm like, a month. A month is like the 2 o'clock rule to me. You know the 2 o'clock rule?
No.
When you're in a
No,
club?
what's that?
Oh, 2 a.m. Yeah.
So at 2 a.m., you make a decision, right?
Yeah.
Am I having breakfast with a bunch of people I may or may not know? Or am I going back now? Right? That's the choice.
And I'm never the one who leaves, so
Exactly. So yeah,
FOMO.
that's my 2 o'clock rule. It's like the perfect time. I could still possibly get some sleep. I'll be home before sunlight, that whole thing. But anyway, thanks everyone for coming out. Barkin Music, Bianca, Spawn, Remnez, Mesa and Boss already here. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a bunch of really good demos today. Should we just get to one?
Let's do it. Spawn, I barely came back. I came back, but it was reluctantly, and it's only because I had a flight purchased. I don't know if Raquel has a flight purchased to come home.
Oh, back?
Yeah.
Oh, the Italy thing. Yeah. Nick kept sending me videos. He's like, look at this sunset. I'm like, bro, just freaking stay there.
Yeah. It will happen.
I would have to come back because after I get back 2 weeks later is ADE. So my plan is to come back, sleep for 2 weeks, and then go to ADE.
Awesome.
Aha. Sleep for 2
Perfect
weeks.
plan.
I love that.
We can do something at ADE. I think Dope and Nope at ADE would be fun. That could be something.
Everyone raise their hand who wants to go to ADE who wants to go to Amsterdam? That's the dumbest question ever.
Always, yes.
But, yeah. So maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
Our first demo today, Urban Owl. And this is called Out of Time and Space, right here on Dope or Nope. is Urban Owl out of Time and Space. What do you guys think?
Raquel?
That is Urban Owl. Wow. Really fun. I like the sort of classic speedy trance beginning to it. Then the vocals came in, also quite complimentary. It's very stabby. It's very fun.
Nice. Good feedback. Who's next?
Who's next?
Lauren, I'm going to give it to
feel
you
like-
while I organize this Instagram, because we are live on Hess's Instagram, and we transparently
Wow.
need to fix. We need to fix the template while we talk. So Lauren, you take it.
We
Okay,
look, we look crazy.
So I'll tell you that I really enjoyed the 90s rave feeling of it, and I really loved the space on the synths. The synths had lots and lots of width on them, and they sounded really fun. And weirdly, there was a lot of room for the synth to. You hear the reverb on the tail on it really nicely without there being an issue. And I love that there was a beautiful counter melody that came in that didn't interfere with the first one. And that's a real hard thing to do, is to introduce a second melody and make it not feel like it's getting in the way, you know?
Right.
And then I only felt like it took a long time to get there, would be my only, feedback. It felt like one of those 9-minute Tiesto opuses from like 2002, 3, 4, 5. So
Yeah, I mean it's
probably
5:39, so not designed for the show necessarily, or radio, but
yeah, but even clubs, I don't know. Like I would have suggested chopping it down by, let's call it even 8 bars before you get to, after you've hit the synths and then you hit the counter melody. Like, how do you move to the next thing a little faster? That's all. I mean, I don't even know if that's exactly accurate advice. Maybe in that world, that's the right thing to do, is to let it breathe more. The vocal was kind of cool. I really liked that too. It wasn't offensive in any way. It wasn't mind blowing, but it certainly felt really, really strong and good.
yeah,
So yeah, I liked
I
it.
agree.
It's all for me.
Super cool track though. Wow, I'm gonna do a bell.
Okay.
Oh,
You
Okay.
know what? I mean, I agree with you with it could have been I mean, I feel like anything can always be shorter. Wow. Now we're stacked.
Listen, it took me a second, but I think somebody look at Instagram and tell me how this
Can
looks.
someone look at Instagram and see if we're all on
Yeah,
it?
Raquel, let me see. Do we have anyone on here who's really good at social media? Let's put that person in charge.
Apparently not me, because
Okay.
I started it. So
it looks better.
Okay, so that was
Awesome.
it. So the advice is good. The advice is good. We're happy with it. Yes, you like
looks
it.
better.
Raquel, did you just like it in general? Was that a fun jam for you?
Yeah, I really liked it. It actually gave me Every Time We Touch vibe.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like giving me the nostalgia of that, and I love that
Yeah, yeah.
song. I do feel like it was a little long, even for the club, because obviously to a point you gotta get to it even in the club. But yeah, I think it was definitely the right direction, and it was fun and punchy, and like that is one of the tracks that I'd be like, I want to go to the dance floor. This is fun.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Yeah, cool.
That's the line right there.
I've got no feedback for Urban Aloe. We just reconnected on a live stream earlier today, so he knows I love him, and I will listen to this track offline. I was too busy realigning us on Instagram to listen, so I apologize, sir, and I promise to make it up to you.
We're trying
Thank
to
you
get
for
our life
submitting
together,
it.
guys. We apologize.
Yeah. You know,
Moving
look,
right along.
moving right along. Let's go to the next demo. This is actually Versu. Hold on 1 second. And this is called Interstellar on Dope or Nope. perfect 53 seconds.
Wow.
Nice.
Pretty heavy track, though. Wow.
Wow. That's crazy. So an actual 53-second demo. Damn. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
You had to see like the wave file, though. It looked like literally like a hot dog. It was like,
Yeah.
and then just
I
everything.
can hear
through
it.
This,
Yeah.
It was like completely shoved against the walls, like on both sides. Crazy.
Yeah. It was good. That was a good record. I really enjoyed it. It was super fun.
Yeah, digging that.
Really nice.
So I'll jump in on this one. Rimnez said Stamped Records. I agree. It's in the style of what would work for that label.
Yeah.
To your point, Hess, I did feel like it was overly pushed. Like, I love the way the sounds are aggressive, but it's just a hair too far where it just sounds like it's blown out. The mix is blown out. I think it's cooler when those records, you pick and choose what's going to be blown out and what's a little bit cleaner. Otherwise, it just sounds like a wall of noise and distortion.
Right. So I pose a question as someone who hears a lot of that and the difference. Is there a way to do it where it pounds similarly, but is not, just sounding like it's coming through a box of tissues? You know what I mean?
For sure. So when we find problems in these records, like if we get something into mix and master and it's a record like this, typically there's two different approaches. Somebody who is usually conscious of what they're doing is mixing and starting the production a lot lower in volume and picking and choosing what sounds to distort or clip or saturate and make a little gritty, and other sounds to keep clean. And then they might just be pushing into their limiter a little too hard at the end of the chain. So basically, they're picking and choosing, and then they're pushing everything up at the end. The other problem we'll find is that some guys don't pick and choose, and to achieve this sound, they just push the limiter at the end. Everything gets pushed to the wall. Yeah. So then you have no control at that point of what's going to be clean and what's not, because your ceiling is just so maxed out. So what I would do to figure out a solution to all of it is just dial back your master. Like, take everything off your master chain and lower your master volume, and then mix the record as if it's clean, and you'll be able to pick and choose what sounds are gritty and distorted and what can be clean and punch through a little bit more. And then once you achieve that mix at that level, then put a limiter on, bump up the volume, but not to a point where it's starting to blow other things out. That'll make sense for producers.
For someone who understands all that. Yeah. So much hard work, man. I'm so much happier doing promotion where people are like, yes or no. That's kind of it. Anyone else want to jump in on this?
I just thought it was really good. I mean, it really came out of the gate going really hard, relentless energy until it sort of dialed it back a little bit. It's funny that it was under a minute, because I did hear some like creepy whispering going on, and that could have just been in my head, but it could have also been on the track.
No,
It told me to do things.
That was for Kel.
It was me.
Anyway, I like the track. I think it was fun. I totally understand, even though I'm not a studio guy, I understand what Nick was saying. It's just to sort of back everything down, choose what you want to emphasize, and then remaster it from there. So just so you know that people like me understand what Nick is saying too. So.
Right, absolutely. Raquel, any thoughts?
I mean, I literally was just like, this is what I want to listen to in the gym. Like, that is what I want to run to and just make it happen, or like headbang at a festival to. But yeah, as it went on, I was like, oh, it's a little blown out. So I think once you fix the production aspect of it, it's going to be just like a banger.
And that's why people bring this stuff here, right? And I see Versus saying, don't forget it's a whip. And, absolutely. So just so we're, always on point with what's being delivered to us that we can listen to and share. Sometimes, we get these things super, super early, like 53 seconds of some sort of heat that's coming. So I'm sure he'll gather all that intel and put it together when he's ready. Next demo, let's see. I'm not sure how I'm going to pronounce this, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is Arland and this is called Magma. And this is Dope or Nope. Magma.
Gonna do it.
2, please.
Me too.
Could I
Put it
please
on the
have all of my remaining quota of bells for the hour? I missed them.
Yeah. Same. Me too.
Damn.
Nice
That
track.
is a
Nice
hot
one.
record. That's a hot record.
So nicely thought out.
So clean. It's so expensive sounding. The kick is so damn punchy. The melody you don't get sick of. They've muted it. Even now you can hear it's being kind of like toned down, but it's still present, and it's ever present for the whole record. There's a really great bass line underneath the main lead when it drops at the beginning, which gives it like a counter melody feel. And to me, I'll throw this last thing to Nick, but I thought there was just the right amount of shimmer on the crutches, so you felt that energy splash on the drop. And Nick, I thought for me there was the right amount of sidechain on the lead. So there was a moment where the kick and everything got out of the way, and the lead was doing its own thing, and you could perfectly hear how it's being sidechained to really punch through and sound very, very impressive. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I heard, and this is like, if I were to nitpick it, the lead that happens at the end, that mix out, that like where it gets a lot tighter, pluckier, and like dulled down.
Yeah.
I'd almost want to hear that version of the lead, maybe even more low passed at the beginning of the builds or the beginning of the sections where the lead comes in, so it's even more scaled back. So by the time that you're at the end of the build, about to go into the drop, it's evolved. Like the lead has evolved a ton over that 32 bars or whatever it is.
Right.
The other thing I would do is, right now it like kind of, it doesn't fully wash out, but it gets like a little delayed and it's a little washy before the drop. I think that's an opportunity, because you're already doing that through the whole build. It's an opportunity for that last bar to just pull back and make it super dry and tight, and that drop will feel humongous when it hits.
Yeah, so on the nitpick side, like here in this piece right here, this is the only thing that kind of I enjoyed, but also I was expecting a little bit more.
Right over here. Right there. like it's too washed out there. If that last bar was a lot tighter and the synth almost had no reverb, no delay, it would be a moment, and then you'd get a crazy drop.
I like how they drew the synth through the drop, like as it was coming and coming, and then it kept like going and then just faded out. But I felt like that the drop could have punched a little. I don't know. I want to say harder, but that's been more present. You know what I mean? Like it had that like one kick, and then it just went in, like just over the edge and went into the drop. I was expecting a little bit more like to feel it. You know what I mean?
So I'm trying to understand your feedback.
Terms, right? So
you expected the drop itself to be harder, or the
like when you actually kicked into the drop, right? Because I felt like it was a nice build, and then there was this like in between. Hold on, it was like right here. So right before the drop kicks, they do like do like that, and then the drop goes. I don't know if that could have been like what would have made it more impressive, the drop part.
Just a single snare ahead of time, so it didn't, instead of going dunk dunk and then drop, it could have just gone crash in. So like one instead of two would have.
I felt like that was a crash moment then.
Yeah, like a big snare, like this massive, big, washed out snare that just like sounds big and epic. Yeah, have done that before in my remixing days. I've literally picked up someone else's massive, big snare thing and said, "Do you mind if I literally said to them, "Do you mind if I sample your snare that you've used in your little pre-drop to make it my pre-drop?" And they're like, "Hey, if it's fine, it's a snare." Right. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It's exactly that. But also, I do agree that if you had have dried out that washy reverb so it went to basically nothing, it would make the speaker hit harder because it would have sounded cleaner.
Right. Yeah.
The silence before the drop trick.
Every time.
Absolutely. Yeah, but also like
70% of the time works every time.
But I mean, that's like really nitpicking to me.
It
like,
is.
Overall, I thought that sounded really good. I really it was thought out. It didn't like fiddle around. It's just like got to the point, didn't meander. Easy to do in a track like that. That is like, you know, I'm going to throw the kitchen sink in over here.
We haven't spoken about this track long enough, I feel. So I have one more thing to ask. Does anyone think that a vocal would work or not? And if so, what kind of vocal would it be? There's your topic for today.
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, I think every record could use a vocal. I don't know specifically what this needs without listening again, but this just reminds me of a song, like a club record like Greyhound, Swedish House Mafia, where the lead is just so infectious that it works without a vocal. Yeah. But now your advice that you always give is haunting my brain of like, well, how are people going to identify the song? With Greyhound, it was the video. Like the video had greyhounds in it, so you knew what the record was. But I will think on that, Lauren.
Yeah.
Admin.
Oh, yeah.
I will say it would probably have to be a pretty special vocal.
It might need a breakdown. Maybe it's a breakdown, and like John Martin comes in the breakdown, and that's it. Or you know what? It could remind
how would you
you
compete though with what was going on there?
Like, it would be tough. You would have to literally wheel out John Martin. That's the only way. I remember Porter Robinson Language. That record was so big, and then they put in Bright Lights as the breakdown vocal, and then it built back up again, and the build up had no vocal, and the drop again had no more vocal. So it could be like that.
Yeah,
could be something. Could be like that.
Anyway, those questions. All right, next demo. Let's see. We have Barkin here, who's a regular, and I appreciate that. This is called More Satisfaction. Interesting. And this is Dope or Nope.
Rhythm in the night, lights, club, action. Stop being quiet to get more satisfaction. Rhythm in the night, lights, club, action. Heart seeking pleasure to get more satisfaction. Rhythm in the night, lights, club, action. Stop being quiet to get more satisfaction. Rhythm in the night, lights, club, action. Practice seeking pleasure to get more satisfaction.
So that is barking with more satisfaction. Who would like to go first?
I got to digest that one for a second before I feed back on it.
You guys heard that sort of glitchy thing too, right? That wasn't just me.
On the vocal?
All right.
Yeah.
Nick's last. Raquel, you're first.
I really like that vocal. I almost think that kind of vocal would work on the song prior, like that kind of thing, but a shorter snippet of it, like the whispery part, like this part, and then before the drop, like would be really cool on the last song. I think the same thing for me, like the mix, it was a little blown out, or maybe it's just, I don't know if it's my headphones or whatever, but a little bit too blown out for me. But it was really cool. I liked what it did. Again, it was just punching the whole time. So maybe give us a little way to digest it at a point, and then the next part, when it goes super balls to the wall, it'll be more enjoyable. You know?
Right.
Yo, I love that advice of this vocal on the last record with the riff.
Yeah.
That's such good advice.
Totally works. Totally works.
It actually does the emoji. I love it.
I love that she just did that. That was great. That was awesome.
As far as the vocal goes, is that like a splice vocal, or did they have somebody go in and sing that?
I don't know. It's so hard to tell. I would suggest it's a sample vocal.
It sounds a lot like Jennifer Coolidge. I keep hearing her in all of these songs. Good song. It goes hard. There
He's
were some
watching
sounds.
White Lotus too much.
Maybe. There were some sounds in there that were super aggressive, but they were fun. I kind of watched them fly over my head as they were happening. Yeah, I mean, fun, energetic track. Yeah, I think it's pretty fun, and I always love a female telling me what to do in the club. So,
Mr. Hess, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a glitchy noise that's on my side or if that was baked in. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's a great club record, and Raquel's move to transfer that vocal over there. That is definitely the style that you would have to like that. So you can't compete, so don't, right? So just like put a little snippets like that on top of that other track is a great idea too. But yeah, well done, man. I like it as a track for a club for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my advice. That record does exactly what it's meant to do in the environment it's meant to be. That is a straight up 4 a.m. Club record, low ceiling, not much lights going on, big banging, dark, heavy techno record, and it just does it perfectly. And I'm out of bells, but it's great. Really super good record. Love it.
Nice.
I wasn't offended about it at all.
Nice.
I was listening to it through a different perspective. I was imagining, though, when I was young and waiting for an artist to come on, not realizing that they weren't coming on until 5 a.m. And I was effectively fell asleep on a subwoofer. I was so tired. and it was playing those records over and over. And when we got to 5 a.m., it was all worth it. That was the style. I'm in it. I like it.
Speaking of breakfast, Todd Stuckey, this is Autograph playing in the background. It's called Runaway.
Yeah, I'd
came out
agree.
last week.
I'd agree with Lauren's thoughts. I love it overall. From like a technical perspective, it does sound like it's missing a hair of like sub bass. So like it hits the sweet spot of a normal speaker per se, or like these headphones where you want to hear the kick in the low end audibly. But if you had a subwoofer, I think you're missing just some stuff around like, I don't know, 70 hertz or so. So I'd take a look at that, like maybe just an extra layer on your kick in the low end. Also, once I was 16 bars into the drop, I wanted a change and I didn't get it. Just in like the synths and stuff, maybe just some kind of variation there. And I think you can marry the main synth in the drop to the drop a little bit more. It kind of sits on top a little bit now versus like sitting in the mix. But these are all pretty minor things. I think overall you got a dope record on your hands. And it's great it's an original vocal, he said. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Love it. Once again, if you're just joining us, it is the halfway point. This is Dope or Nope, the best demo drop you've come across this week for sure. Our panel today is Raquel Goldie, on-air host at Sirius XM and Pitbull Globalization. John McDaniel, 30 years of dance radio programming right there in front of you. Nick Dietrich, Liftoff Recordings, Finish My Track, and the Disco Fries. My name is Hess. I do radio promotion in the dance format. Lauren Padman, Vice President of Dimmark Records. There it is. We've had some demos going on. If anyone in the audience would like to toss us a topic for today's industry discussion, we have a few demos left, but we might be able to squeeze something in. Another regular. Let's see. It's Mr. Remne's up now with My Love right here on Dope or Nope. Sent us a piano track like this. I feel like this is I'm hearing this style for the first time from him. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're correct.
I always feel like it's a little harder.
Can you just turn this up and listen for the high string? Right. That was the first time I noticed that high string. It was like such a nice lift feeling that you didn't really consciously notice, perhaps without me identifying it. I heard it straight away. I'm like, wow, that is so awesome. What a great.
It's nice, right?
I thought this record was really nice. The vocal felt beautiful, really good soul feeling, and great drop, really cool bass underneath the pianos to make the pianos feel like they're more punchier and bigger all at the same time. I have one, I don't even know if it's advice or a question, and maybe Nick, you're probably the only person who can help me with it, is at the start of the record, the pianos felt like they weren't glued in to the track. It felt like they were too washy or reverby or something. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah, that was one of my notes, was that they sounded, they were like a hair washy, but it was more, they were super resonant, probably around like 1K in the EQ, and it just stuck out. So they didn't sound like they were glued in.
Okay. I never would have thought of that, actually. All right. Yeah, I mean, Raquel, you thought it was around the 1K mark, right? That they were resonant?
Yes.
I was going with 2K myself. I thought it was 2.
We
I'm
all
like
thought
4K?
that.
2K.
Pictures?
2K.
Well, I think you won't find a piano up there, but that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, that's interesting feedback. That's really good feedback. That actually, that's a good piece of advice that I'll try to see if I can dumb down a little bit. But an idea is, you guys all understand. You're welcome, John. You understand the idea of there being an EQ, and you can like turn things up like an equalizer, let's say, back in the old days. And imagine if you were able to pick up a certain section, put it all the way up to the top, and then you sweep it all around until you find the sound that pisses you off the most. It's like whichever sound it is that really, really annoys you, then you go, okay, that's where it is, and then you duck it down and you take it under. So just that little frequency that's causing the whistle sound or the thing that's pissing you, duck it down, and it takes it out without you really noticing why it automatically sounds so much better and glued in. So that's kind of, I think, where Nick was headed with that. Does that make more sense to you, Raquel and John? That idea?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was.
I'm a visual learner, so when you explain it like that, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but you know what? Like, if you want to take this thing, speaking of, it does what it says on the label.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually a very nice tribute to like a more classic house sound. That's an interesting
you know what?
question.
It just occurred to me. I will not be available for next week's show, which means I'm going to use next week's allotment of bells for this show. So I'll take a bell for this record.
Alrighty.
I just wanted to give them a quick visual example. We're not going to get into the weeds of this by any means, but here's a quick visual example. And I'm not going to play anything either, because that'll really screw things up.
Woo!
All right, can you guys see this all right?
Yes.
Dope.
So
Yes.
this track is playing. There's nothing playing right now. I have the audio turned off. But I was saying right in this range of that track is where stuff was sticking out. So basically, if you pushed it up like that, you'd hear it even more prominent. And then what I was telling him to do was do this. And widen it out.
Oh.
Duck it down. There
And
you go.
duck it down. And a quick tip, because I'm in here, in FabFilter Pro Q3, you can make it dynamic. So if it is hitting a certain threshold, then it'll hit the frequency. But if you want it to pop through the rest of the time, and it's only when it hits it at a certain level, you could do the multi-band and do it dynamic. Anyway, we're getting in the weeds, and that's for another episode.
Yeah.
That was a little.
And-
That was a little weedy. Yeah.
Well, listen, I think that you literally had Raquel's attention when you showed heard the visual thing, and then the second that you said multi-band, you lost everyone. But I get it, and I know why you did it. So it was good because you got two audiences. You got the listeners who could figure it out roughly, and then you get the producers who are like, "Whoa, multi-band! Oh my god, Fab Filter, boom! I'm in it." So,
right.
And I was like, "Ooh, pretty."
Looks pretty. I like that color.
Yeah.
We were good until when you pulled that thing down, and then it was wah 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 wah.
Oh, good. Yeah, right. No, I understood all.
That's
of it.
all I heard.
Good. That was good. That was a nice visual example of exactly.
Yeah,
what
thank you.
10-second lesson.
Yeah. Once again, proving I'm going to stick with promotion. Our next demo. Here we go. You ready? Mesa and Boss, Music in the Soul. The Dope or Nope edit.
You can feel the power taking you higher and higher. Play with me now. You can feel the music. Can you feel it? Taking you higher and higher. Just feel the music in your soul. Play with me now. You gotta feel the power lifting you up from inside. You can feel the music. Can you feel it? Taking you higher and higher. Just feel the music in your soul.
All right, that's Mesa and Boss.
I'm going to give this a bell.
I'm going to be right back. Refresh time.
Do it. Oh, man, I love those guys. They're on a freaking roll right now. It's nonstop. I've heard a new song from them privately every day for the last week, practically.
Wow.
It's totally insane. But I love that one a lot. What I would say immediately what jumped out is the synths are all cool. Like, it works really well. It's got great energy. But I think everything has a little too much reverb. Because as soon as if you put that song, not that it would fit on the radio necessarily, but if you were in a mix show, at one of Armin's shows, whatever, that's going to get squashed and all that reverb is going to come up even more. Mm-hmm. Same thing in a club. So I would just dial it back a bit. You could also, if you don't have the reverb going to a bus or a send, then you could do it on the reverb itself, hopefully. Just EQ some of the low end out of the reverb, just a hair, because it's just mucking up the mix a little bit. But other than that, I loved it.
They always take us on a journey. Like, everything they put out, at least that we've heard, could be in some sort of movie or like something like that, and you can tell that they're trying to tell a story in their music, and it's very thought out, and they weren't like, let's just see what this does and hope for the best. Like, we love it. We love it to be thought out.
No, they're like every week. So they're either banging these things out every week or like they have a stockpile somewhere. Because they sound like they're not, they didn't do this last night.
No. No, and I will say they take a lot of pride and they care about what they're doing, and they're always trying to like reinvent it. They're in it. We launched this private Discord, and they're in there, and they take our feedback and they'll go back and they'll spend a few days and they'll rework the whole thing. They'll change drops entirely. Like, they've got it. It's just a matter of when they like really crack through. But I think it's going to happen for them, making all the right moves.
Nice. I thought that there needed to be more bass under the synths because there was too much mid synth and there wasn't enough bass at the beginning. It just felt like it was all synth and not enough bottom end. And then the drop just seemed to appear. There was no build to it. It just appeared, which is not so bad. It's a new idea, I guess, but it just appeared with the beats, the bass line, the new bass line, and the hats, like all in one motion, almost like it was just became a house record. But the last drop, the synths were more tamed and the bass line was more present. And I'm like, oh, this is a different feeling. And I wondered whether you could steal some of your ideas later in the track to tighten up the sound of the first drop. That's what I would look at. Yeah. Very good. What do you got there, Hess? I hear a lot of clicking and a lot of music.
Sorry. You know, Loopback was so bad, I literally could not make out that. You know, I made that joke before about Box of Tissues. That's what was playing in my head. I didn't hear. I have to go back now and listen to that song separately because I couldn't hear a single thing.
You know, we're not sponsored by the company when he said the product is so bad that he couldn't hear anything.
Couldn't hear a thing.
It works.
Yeah,
all the time.
I just wanted to mention that I really like the sampling. I like that kind of record where there's somebody sort of like preaching, and it kind of, I don't know, it gives me energy. I really like it. I think that Mesa and Boss, they mentioned that they do have a stockpile of songs, so watch out for more from them. But they tend to submit tracks that are just like borderline epic tracks. So keep going because the shit is good. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'll go back and listen to that. The next demo is by, let's see what I got here up my sleeve. We'll turn off Ultranate for a second. This is Jayhem, Jaston, and Tima D, and this is called Unforgettable. Let's hope it is on Dope or Nope.
Put it in overdrive, doing my body right. Never thought I would say I want to give you all my time. But I can't lie. Ooh, you just hold me down with your loving. Oh, baby, you just hold me down, and I love it. If you're gonna break my heart, come and break it. If you're gonna waste my time, come and waste it. Just promise me tonight will be unforgettable. I don't wanna play it safe. You know that ain't no fun. We on that all or none. Boy, can't get enough. Love it when you say my name. Say it like I'm the one. It ain't like me to stay, but I ain't trying to run. Cause you just hold me down with your loving. Oh baby, you just hold me down, and I love it. Is it gonna break my heart? Is it gonna break my heart? You better be unforgettable. So, if you're gonna break my heart, come and break it. If you're gonna waste my time, come and waste it. Just promise me tonight will be unforgettable. So, if you're gonna break my heart, come and break it. If you're gonna waste my time, come and waste it. Just promise
That is Jayhem, Jayem, Jaston or Jaston, Jastin, Tima D, and and that is Unforgettable.
Damn.
Bell, please.
Bell.
My entire allocation for next week. Leave on this one.
All right.
Damn, that's so good.
Bell.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's getting
I'll go
half
with
a
Bell.
bell from me. It's getting half
bell
from me.
from Nick. Oh, he goes the sleigh bell. Oh, jeez.
Oh
Jingle
man,
bells.
what happened
Wait.
there?
John, what do you have there? Oh,
How about
nice.
train whistle?
That has to be the
I
new
love
half bell.
that.
That's the
That's a
half
half
bell.
The half
So
bell.
we have
Okay.
like 100 of those in this house. All the kids are always running around doing that in my face.
George knows all about it. What
Yes.
a song!
Nick,
oh my God, you guys!
what don't you like about it? What's the huff?
So love the vocal, love the show me love interpolation idea. There's some bass swing, like bass organ swing issues, and the piano voicing couldn't make me crazier. The piano needs to be reworked for me to be happy with that record. But that said, it's an amazing record. The production to me is at 85%, and if it gets to 100, that's a smash-ola out of the park. Awesome
Yeah.
record.
So close.
Really great song.
John.
I know you guys
John,
probably don't hear anything I'm hearing, but I do.
No,
think,
you know what? I have one word to say what you said in my terms. The production to me was common,
Wow.
where the song was was banging. The
Man.
song was there. I just felt like they just need all the things that you just said.
No, I mean Todd Stuckey just said it best. I think songs like that are so much easier to fuck up because of the simplicity. I think that is 1,000% true. A record like this, it can teeter of going like full cheese and generic, or this is super dope and special, and it's such a fine line you got to ride to get there.
I'd say they had a couple toes in the generic cheesy area, not full on, because that would have been a shame. Because I would have heard that vocal and been like, oh. And like the thing is, like we hear, and I know you guys do too, because I hear 'em, I get a lot of stuff like this, and it's like, man, that song is just so there, like such a nice delivery, excellent delivery, and then the hook, so great. But yeah, just pick it up.
Who was that again?
To me,
lot of people.
like it was very so close.
Can we
I
shout out
think if
the?
you had more of like a Becky Hill on that, though, I think it would have been different because of just how her voice is so that. Like, it needs to be almost more of that instead of the, like, to me, I was like, okay, this is a demo. It sounds like it's a demo for like Little Mix or something a couple years ago. So if you have a different type of almost bigger voice like a Becky Hill, I think that is the difference of making it cheesy and not for radio, because this is a number one radio dance track type of situation.
I think it could be for sure. Yeah.
Could you back announce it for everybody? Because we spent a lot of time talking about it.
Yeah. So sorry. That was Jhyem, Jhyem, Jason, Justin, and Tima D, and that's called Unforgettable.
Got it.
Aptly named
Nice
right
one.
there.
Lauren's like, I got it. I know my email is out already.
How do you
I know.
spell that?
He's like, I can see his cursor over the person's email address right now.
He's like, is that at Gmail or
That's
Yahoo?
not
Which
true.
one?
That's Nick's cursor. I can see it
No,
myself.
no. I see the big L at the top of the page there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got one more. I just want to pop this in here. I'm gonna. Oh man, it's 6:46. I'm gonna bounce this around a little bit. This is Galaxy and Jinsey. This is called Higher.
And I'll have to dip. Thank you very much for everybody. I have a
Bye,
hard.
Lauren.
You got to go now.
Love you guys.
Yeah, he found his record of the day, and now he's leaving us. I got it. Totally get
Yeah.
it.
Found all.
All right, Lauren.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you very much for joining us this week. Get some sleep. Have some fun.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Later, man.
Thanks, everybody.
Once again, this is Dope or Nope with Galaxy Jinxie. I don't know. Higher, featuring Jasmine Jane. I mean, Jesus. I will be moving this around a little, so. So that's halfway. So guys, just a reminder, when you're dropping off demos, so I don't have to edit for you, because I will. Yeah, anything under like 3 minutes would be great. This is beautiful, though. I'm definitely in for a half a bell on it, though.
John, where is it at?
John.
Oh, that. Oh, geez. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I better get ready with this.
Help.
Yeah. I really like that, though.
I liked it a lot, too. I do wish it had a short edit. Not even a Dope or Nope edit, just a normal song length edit for us to kind of hear the whole thought. And now I hear like more of a full vocal coming in, but my suggestion was going to be I'd like to hear like a vocal section. I like the ethereal vocals and the vibe is really cool, but I think there's so much space for you to do some kind of like breathy, Christina Novelli type vocal.
Yeah,
I just saw her name
know
pop up today, so that's why it was top of mind.
Who said it earlier? Oh, Todd Stuckey's like Afterlife Vibes. I mean, that's, all those songs are like, what, 10 minutes or 6 hours? Like, I'm not sure what the length is, but that's, this is that design, which I get 100%. So you have to, that's the space you're going to live in, right? So unless you have like you're able to tell that same story in 3 minutes, which is always the struggle, right?
I see how it could be done, though. Just a little less of that front section. There's a way to edit this down to a radio length and hopefully be able to tell the entire story of what the artist is trying to convey. It has such a nice sound to it. It's just a really clean, kind of very approachable. It's good. I'd like to hear an edit, but other than that, I think it's good. So.
Back in the day, John was, by the way, talk about edits, man. Wow. C89 was like ninja editor right there. Like 245.
Here's a good question for you, John. So,
a long one.
If you got a record, in and you were like, did you really have to love a record to go in and do the edit, or what?
That's a good question.
What, like, you know where I'm going with this. It's like, what was the threshold of like, I'll add this record and I'm going to edit it versus like, this record's too long, I'm not going to add it because it's too long. You know what I mean? What was that line of...
Right. Well, I mean, I guess if I loved it, you know, I wanted it to go on the air. That's the reason I would make an edit for it. So I guess I have to like it first for the station and then make an edit versus just hearing it and sort of kind of being middle of the road. Probably wouldn't spend my time editing it. Maybe air out the longer version in mix shows or something to get a few spins. So yeah, I kind of have to like it.
I found the difference. The difference in like programmers, the difference for me across a lot of programmers was, I love it, I'm gonna just make it shorter. That seemed easier than some rearrangement or clipping the intro. You know, we actually had this situation the other day with the new Swedish House Mafia, Ray of Solar, which has this like intro on it that is just, it's not really radio friendly, and it's just literally 15 seconds, and then it goes right into a piano line, and everyone was like, why doesn't it start there? You know, because the other parts, like, you know, this like eerie vocal and some synths and things, like when you're making edits, I know it's not anyone's job, but just as a thought, you have to think of what the person is running before it and after it, right? So if you're coming out of this like awesome killer track and you go into this like some sort of intro where it's just like synths and a vocal, and it's, unless it's quite powerful, you know, you have to, and there's not even a click track, right? So there's nothing, just like this thing. Sometimes that can, you know, suck the energy out of the room because you're just coming into it. You're coming in hot, and then it's just like, brr. So just a thought when you're making radio mixes, not edits, right? When you're editing down a club record designed for an entire different purpose. It's dramatic, it's, you know, emotional, and it's like you can pull those same things off in a radio edit, but I think you have to mix that instead of just trying to cut up something. I don't know, Nick, maybe you can...
No, I agree. Our theory is you make the song for you make the edits for them. So the edits are for everybody else. The radio show, the mix show, the TikTok edit where you like, if you use the stems and do like a proper TikTok edit versus just cutting parts of the song, we always recommend that because it comes out better. It's obviously time consuming, but it's worth it, especially if something has a viral moment. It changes everything.
We've seen how worth it can be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I always recommend doing the edits, and I know artists can be fickle about them, but again, like, you write the song and the original production for you, and that could be your magnum opus that comes out. That could be like your iTunes version, or wherever you want it to be, like your main version. But even for streaming, I'd recommend kind of a radio edit and a shorter edit, because streaming is kind of treated much like radio at this point, at least in this format. Right. You know, some of the more niche dance genres, it's a little bit different. But if you're doing like commercial dance music, which is what we all kind of participate in, you know, it's what it is. It's a 2:45 to 3:45 max song length.
Yeah. So, Flank Master Funk, how are you, man? Taught me to, what do you say? Taught me to mix the radio version with the vocal a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Also a good idea.
Done that. Yep.
Yeah. So there you have it. We blew through another hour. Some great demos today. I'm gonna play Mesa and Boss over again because I didn't get to hear any of that properly. Thank you guys very much for you know, sharing your talents and experience to everyone in the audience. Once again, Lauren Padman, who had to step out a little bit, Nick Dietrich from Disco Fries, Liftoff Music Recordings. What is it again? I always forget.
It's Liftoff Recordings.
It is recordings. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't know that.
You're good.
And finish my track. Raquel Goldie, on-air host, social media expert, I would say as well, and K-pop aficionado. And she is out of here next week, heading over to South Korea, and really just have such a good time. You know,
Thank you.
be careful, be safe.
Yeah. Safe travels.
World is kind
Thank
of
you.
that shit crazy right now. John McDaniel,
Yeah.
best ears in the business right there. 30 plus years of programming, C89.5, the longest running dance station in the United States, by the way. My name is Hess, and I'm here every week. I'm doing radio promotion for Armada Music and a bunch of other stuff. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Rimnez, Urban Owl, we're Spawn.
Happy birthday, Bianca, by the way.
Bianca,
Oh, happy
happy birthday.
Happy
Had no
birthday.
idea. That's awesome. Todd Stuckey. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Get some applause.
Right? Where are we rating? Do we have somewhere?
Oh, yes, we do. Let me see. Spawn hit me with Leona Stone is live right now for Ukrainian Independence Day. So let me
I love
get that lined up. Give me 1 second.
And don't
In
forget.
the meantime,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you what you're doing this weekend.
This weekend. Super cool. We're doing our first camp out trip with the kids. It's in the backyard, so we're
I love that.
we're lowering the barrier to entry on that one. We got a cool tent, and we also got an outdoor blow-up screen. So we're going to do a movie outside,
Awesome.
which is kind of cool. Get the popcorn ready, and then, I got some yard work to do. I think the boys are also getting a riding lesson this week. So a couple fun things to do before school starts on Monday. How about you?
Love it.
Fun.
I got the kiddo's birthday this weekend, so just doing the rat race for that.
Yep.
And Danny and I launched this Finish My Track subscription a couple weeks ago, and we've just been like,
Oh yeah, that's going really
machines.
well, right?
Yeah, we're doing some master classes. We're doing a sample pack drop. Actually, spoilers, anybody who's already in there. A sample pack drop, I think top of the week. So, just more things to do that are awesome. Pretty excited
Right.
about it, though.
Awesome. Raquel, I think it's how to fit all the things you want to bring into a carry-on. Is that the goal?
So luckily with Korean Air, you get 2 free suitcases, like big ones.
Oh.
So 2 free big suitcases, a carry-on, a backpack. But I obviously want to buy everything I see there, so we'll see.
Oh.
I'm in the
3
process of taking
suitcases back.
stuff out now. Yeah, I think I might just ship stuff back. That might be the situation, but when we get there, we'll figure it out.
Because we've never traveled together, but just, I have this hunch that you may not be a light traveler.
Oh, I'm not,
Yeah.
obviously.
Just
Like, whenever I go see Vinny in Rhode Island for work stuff, he's always like, why are you bringing this much? And and his wife's always like, you know how this goes.
right. Exactly. Well, have a great time. Again, be safe.
Thank you.
John?
Thank you.
Yeah.
What
I
are you
have
doing?
a home repair project to do, so I'll be swearing a lot, probably scraping up my knuckles a little bit, and
Right on.
yeah. Otherwise, being kind of butch this weekend.
Love that for you.
Well, that's awesome. Well, everyone, don't forget, hug someone you love. It's never too late to tell them how you feel. Be safe. Have a fantastic weekend. Nick, hit that button.
All right, we are off to raid. We're going to Leona Stone right now on Twitch. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Dope or Nope every Thursday in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Woo!